Hey guys, today we're going to talk a little bit about outlining strategies, especially strategies that you might want to use for outlining your theme comparison essay. I know outlines can seem sort of basic, but it is really important to consider the fact that they tell you what you're going to do while you're working on your essay. The great Yogi Berra once said, if you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. And this is really true for a lot of students and a lot of their writing. If you don't have an outline, you might end up proving an argument different from the one you set out to prove in the first place. So an outline keeps you on track, and in many cases, it actually makes the process of writing a lot easier. Outlining is generally considered the second step of the whole writing process, and it's an area that students tend to skip. I'm going to ask you not to skip this part, and here's why. I want you to think of an outline like a map for the journey that your essay is going to take. Writing an outline for this kind of essay has three real purposes. It's a thinking task, it's a logic game, and it's a scavenger hunt. Think about the thinking task piece. The act of writing the outline affords you an opportunity to process your own opinions about the stories you've read and how they are connected. Working on the outline is your first formal occasion to get those ideas out on paper. It's also a logic game, because a solid essay is going to have a structure that supports a sound and valid argument. Outlines are a chance to test out the reasoning and coherence of your ideas. Ideally, your outline will allow you to assess the logical flow of your argument overall. It's also kind of a scavenger hunt, maybe the world's worst one. The argument you make in the essay must be supported by evidence, much like a prosecutor must have evidence to support their case in court. An outline provides space to gather the evidence, or in our case, quotations from the texts, that might be used to support the claims made in the final essay. Outlines might seem boring, but they're actually doing a lot of work for us. There are a lot of different ways to outline, but for this particular assignment, we're asking you to use a traditional outline, which kind of looks a little bit like this. I'm asking you to use either Roman numerals or Arabic numerals for this particular outline, rather than simply bullet points or a mind map. And here's why. Remember that part of writing an outline is a logic game, right? Using Arabic and Roman numeral structures allows you to access the logic of your argument. Bullet points make it a lot harder to do that. These structures allow you to assess coordinating and subordinating ideas within the logic of your essay. All right, so let's talk about specifics for this particular essay. The outline for your theme comparison essay needs 4 sections: an introduction, a section on body paragraphs, a conclusion, and a works cited page. Let's go over the introduction. Now, a satisfactory essay that's going to complete this assignment will accomplish 3 tasks. It's going to establish and trace the presence of a subject that's shared between 2 stories. It's going to make a claim about how that subject functions thematically in each work, and it's going to compare the thematic implications of those treatments of that subject, eventually arriving at a unifying thematic idea. The introduction sets the stage for those 3 tasks. This introduction might look a little bit like this in the outline. You'll offer the subject of the essay, the titles and authors of the stories that you're going to deal with, and then the thesis that you plan to argue. The introduction is going to be followed by the body paragraphs. Now, the body paragraphs of your essay are the meat and potatoes of your paper. They are where you prove and support your point with well-chosen evidence and detailed analysis. The outline of each body paragraph should include the main idea, a few notes on how you plan to develop that main idea, and at least one correctly cited MLA quotation that would work to support the main idea in the paragraph. So for this essay, you might want to outline 2 paragraphs for each short story that you plan to address, for a total of 4 body paragraphs. You may want to write 1 paragraph where you establish the subject, or establish a discussion of the subject as it exists in the story through the discussion of maybe a conflict, offer a piece of evidence, and then trace in a second paragraph the subject's development through discussion of the conflict's resolution, offer correctly cited evidence, make a thematic claim, and then repeat that process for the second story. The 4th section of your outline should be the conclusion, and this is actually, I think, probably the easiest section to work on. All you're doing is summarizing how the subject is approached in both stories, comparing that approach, and then making a final claim where you kind of come up with a unifying theme that could apply to both works. And then you're almost done. All you have to do is the work cited. So you should have 2 entries for this essay, the 2 stories that you worked with. There are a ton of resources online about correct MLA bibliographic citation. Please make use of them. And that's everything. Go ahead and get outlining.